you guys okay?
Yeah. No, my God.
Where's your car?
How you doing?
Okay, go to your car.
What's going on?
Vehicle. We don't need anybody coming up the 2nd Avenue.
On March 9, 2023, around 12:30 p.m., an anonymous call to 911 reported that a man had run into a food market on Central Avenue in Cleveland, claiming he had just been kidnapped. When police arrived, they were able to speak to the alleged victim, and the conversation was recorded by an officer's body cam.
I went over there to fix his busted pipe for his washing machine.
Okay.
And I was putting a water line for his ice for his refrigerator. And when I got downstairs, another dude came out. They had guns on me and they robbed me. I mean, they tied me up. They had plastic laying on the ground.
The man was still wearing zip ties and duct tape used during the kidnapping. He explained to police that the kidnappers forced him into their van, robbed him, and then demanded a ransom.
So they put this on my face. They get me in my van, and they bring me over here. They turn the location up on my phone. One of the guys is in back with me. And
which way did the car go?
Huh?
Where the car go?
It was parked this way, and I ran all the way down here to here. We were parked right over there.
You're parked on 49?
Yeah,
what kind of car was it?
It's my van.
The van used by the kidnappers had disappeared from the scene. After further investigation, police identified the primary suspect, 51-year-old Ahmed Johnson, a man the victim had known since federal prison. The full story emerged. Johnson had hired the victim to do plumbing work at his home in Cleveland's Buckeye Woodhill neighborhood. Once there, the victim was led to the basement under the pretense of checking a leaky pipe. Once there, another man appeared, pointing a gun at him. After stealing his phone and Apple Watch, the kidnappers tied him up and put him in the back of his van. They then drove to the city's downtown district, forcing the victim to call a friend to demand $15,000 in ransom for his freedom. However, when the van slowed down, the victim took the opportunity to escape, running down East 49th Street. He took refuge in a store, seeking protection among the public, forcing the kidnappers to flee. 2 weeks later, police arrested Ahmed Johnson, who was charged with aggravated kidnapping in Cleveland County Court. There have been no further updates on the case at this time. On the morning of December 25, 2020, a 63-year-old man named Anthony Quinn Warner drove his RV to 2nd Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. What happened next seemed like something out of a dystopian movie. Nearby residents were awakened by a cold, unnatural robotic voice coming from the RV, repeating a distressing message. The digital voice continued to repeat the warning, becoming increasingly urgent, warning that the vehicle would soon explode. The countdown began. It was 6 a.m., and the voice declared that there were 15 minutes left until the detonation. Meanwhile, a group of Nashville police officers, as shown in later released Bodycam videos, were milling around downtown, urging anyone still in the area to evacuate.
So you're not doing anything wrong, okay? You're not in trouble, but there is something serious happening down the road.
Go for 11.
Okay? Do you mind going down to 2nd and
Where do they need to go when they are evacuated?
That's so weird. That's like something out of a movie.
Like The Purge?
Yeah.
You're not in trouble, but it's serious, the officer said, trying to reassure passers-by, even though the atmosphere was surreal, as if they were in a cinematic nightmare. To make matters more disturbing, the camper was playing snippets of Petula Clark's 1964 song Downtown, a chilling contrast between the call to take comfort in the city's crowds and the impending doom. But the robotic voice wasn't lying. 15 minutes later, a powerful explosion rocked downtown Nashville.
Commander 425, are you 10-4?
He's in 4. You guys okay?
Yeah.
No, I guess.
Where's your car? Okay, go to your car. What's going on?
Command, all units are direct. There may be ammo from that vehicle. We don't need anybody coming up the 2nd Avenue exposed.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I appreciate it.
The camper exploded near the AT&T building, devastating more than 50 buildings and causing some to collapse. The shockwave was devastating, leaving behind a scene that, from the images captured by officers' body cams, looked apocalyptic. Fortunately, thanks to the prompt action of the police, most of the residents were evacuated in time. Only 3 people were injured and hospitalized, but no one else lost their lives except Warner, who was still inside the camper at the time of the explosion. After the crash, the investigation focused on Warner's life, revealing a disturbing story. He was a paranoid loner, obsessed with conspiracy theories about reptilian aliens who he believed were trying to take over the world. 16 months before the explosion, his girlfriend had contacted the police, warning that Warner was building explosives in the camper parked outside their home. A few days before Christmas, a neighbor casually asked if he was expecting any presents from Santa, to which Warner replied, "Oh yeah, Nashville and the world will never forget me." Despite these disturbing revelations, authorities were unable to determine a clear motive. Ultimately, it was concluded that Warner probably did not intend to harm anyone, but that a terminal cancer diagnosis and increasing mental instability had driven him to commit this extreme act. On September 30th, 2021, 3 children, 2 6-year-olds and a 7-year-old, were reported missing in the Flamingo Lake neighborhood of Montgomery, Texas. According to their parents, the children had wandered off the main trail into the Sam Houston forest to play near a creek. After the children's disappearance was made public, authorities launched a large-scale search operation involving helicopters, K-9 units, drones, all-terrain vehicles, and hundreds of law enforcement officers from multiple agencies. The next morning, an anonymous Good Samaritan, well known for his familiarity with the forest, decided to take action on his own. Around 9 a.m. on October 1st, the man found the children and called 911 to rescue them. The entire rescue was captured on Sergeant Jason Smith's body cam.
Come on, can y'all come to me? Come to me. Yeah, come to me. There's an opening right here. Come on, kids, come to me.
They wouldn't let me in over here last night, so I just took off around the back. I've been looking all night long.
Yes, sir. I have all
Jesus
3
is
children.
Good, ain't he? Ain't Jesus good?
He's good. Kids, I'm the police. Are y'all ready to get out of the woods? Come on, buddy.
Let's get out of here. You got cheeseburgers in your...
We're going to get something to eat. Okay? You want to hold my hand? We'll get out of here?
Although the children were found just over a mile from where they entered the forest, they had been missing for over 24 hours. Hungry and tired, they had taken shelter under a fallen tree during the night, which explained the leaves and branches in their hair when they were found.
Here, let's pick this. Grab hold of that. There you go.
You're really strong.
Am I really strong?
I think
Lose your shoe? I got you.
In the video, the sergeant helps the children as they make their way out of the forest. "Grab that, you're strong," he encourages, even helping one of the children retrieve a lost shoe. Despite the long night with little food and minimal shelter, the children were in surprisingly good spirits as Sergeant Smith guided them to safety.
Thank you, fellas. Y'all got it? Come on, kids. Let's come out to the road. Whoa, good. What? There you go, buddy. Look at you. You made it.
Toward the end of the video, the children are seen walking out of the forest and into a clearing, where police cars were waiting. It is frightening to imagine what might have happened had the children not been found, as the elements could have overwhelmed them. Fortunately, they were reunited safely with their parents, averting what could have been a much more tragic outcome. On September 9, 2019, an Albuquerque Police Department officer noticed a young man conducting a traffic stop on a gray Nissan SUV. However, something seemed strange. The man was not wearing a police uniform, but rather ordinary citizen clothes, with jeans, a black polo shirt, and an Air Force cap. The officer, suspicious, decided to approach him and talk to him.
You gotta talk to him for a minute.
I do.
What's going on? Let's talk back here real quick. What do you work for?
Early night trips on.
Oh, okay.
I know, I'm under-equipped.
Okay. Normally, if you're out here, man, if you're making a traffic stop, you're just gonna have to stop, dude. Alright? Do you have an ID with you?
And this is all I got. I mean, like I said, I'm under-equipped. I was just heading over there to the courthouse.
To the courthouse for what?
To get my crap. I know, it makes no sense. I caught him going 120 down I-40.
Okay. Why do you have lights on this vehicle?
Personal. I know.
Do you have an ID with you at all?
No, I keep it on my uniform.
From the start, the man, visibly nervous, tried to justify himself by saying that he knew he didn't have the proper equipment. When asked for identification, the man, identifying himself as Brendan Wazinski, said he didn't have it because he had left it in his uniform. During questioning, Brendan confessed to using his personal vehicle to stop civilians, but said he had been a police officer for 3 years.
And I'm not here to mess with you, man. It's just the thing is, yeah, he was speeding, dude. You could have called it in, and because if you get into shooting, you're
right.
All right, man.
I understand.
All right.
For starters, I know this looks really bad.
Right.
This looks really bad. This screams whacker.
Right. How long you been on?
About 3 years.
Okay. I've been on for like 13 years. All right, so.
The officer, not convinced, decided to check the local law enforcement database and noticed that Brendan's name did not appear on any official list. At that point, the only option was to have Brendan get into the back of the patrol car while waiting for the dispatcher to arrive. After less than 5 minutes, Brendan confessed that he was not a real cop and admitted that he had purchased law enforcement equipment.
What's up, man?
All right. I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you. I'm not a cop.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just gonna be honest.
That badge from?
I bought it offline.
Okay. Do me a favor, stay in here, okay, for a second.
Supervisor arrived. The officer informed him of the situation, and Brendan was arrested for impersonating a police officer. Although he was not armed at the time of his arrest, it is common for people like him, once they have gained more confidence, to begin using guns and handcuffs to intimidate their victims. This type of behavior is extremely dangerous, as individuals with no affiliation with law enforcement can cause serious consequences. Once at the police station, Brendan began to give a confusing and contradictory statement. He said he was on his way to work when he saw a car traveling 80 miles an hour and acted on instinct to stop the driver.
And then when I made contact with you, I noticed you had a badge. Where'd you get that badge from?
It belonged to my dad.
It belongs to your dad? When was
Well,
he?
it did.
It did? Is he still around, or did he pass away?
Well, he was killed.
Oh, he was killed, okay.
During questioning, he also claimed that the badge he was carrying belonged to his father, a former sheriff's officer who had been killed in the line of duty 5 or 6 years earlier. However, it was quickly discovered that this was a lie. Brendan had purchased the badge online as he had initially confessed. It turned out that Brendan was only 18, despite claiming to be 25 when he was stopped. To further complicate matters, Brendan also claimed to be married and that he needed to contact his wife, making his story even more unlikely. Things got more disturbing when he confessed to having a loaded gun in the glove compartment of his car. In March 2020, a judge sentenced him to a year of probation, but just a few weeks later, Brendan failed to show up for an appointment with his probation officer, refused to submit to a psychiatric evaluation, provided a false address, and missed a scheduled meeting. As a result, the judge tightened the conditions of his probation. At this time, there have been no new updates on the case. On April 8, 2021, police officers in the town of Whitehall, Ohio, about 6 miles from Columbus, received a report of a man allegedly impersonating a police officer during a traffic stop. When they arrived, they found a 26-year-old man named Casey Donovan Williams asleep in what appeared to be a Whitehall police car. When he awoke, he told officers he was an off-duty police officer on a special assignment. At first, the officers believed his story, but when they were informed that there was no special assignment assigned at the time, they returned to get the truth. The entire exchange was captured on the officer's body cam.
But you have no ID from them,
No,
all right?
no.
And have you ever been sworn in by them?
I've talked to the chief.
No.
No,
I'm
that's
asking
all
you
we
a direct question. Have you been sworn in
Now,
by
it's
them?
very important you answer this correctly, because being a former police officer or someday a current police officer, you know if you lie in this situation, you go directly to jail.
No, I'm not.
So I'm going to
I'm
put
not,
that right
listen,
up.
I'm not.
So
trying-
if
I'm
you
not,
are telling me you are a police officer right now, is that what you're telling me?
No.
So you are not a commissioned police officer.
I spoke with the chief.
That's not what I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm asking you one question. Are you a commissioned police officer through the state of Ohio?
I have an OPUDA certificate.
That's not what
That's
I'm asking.
not what we're asking you.
I'm explaining to you. I have
No, you're not. You're not answering the question. You're avoiding the question. It's very simple. Are you a sworn police officer anywhere in the state of
means
Ohio with
commissioned.
any department?
Not currently.
Okay.
From Washington.
From Watchman?
Yes.
Is he an actual police officer?
You are an actual police officer, correct? Okay. Yes, he is. Where are you commissioned at?
It doesn't matter. He's not here doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's the superintendent of the state highway patrol. That's irrelevant to the situation.
As the cops began to apply more pressure, Casey confessed that he was not a real licensed police officer. In an attempt to save himself, he tried to call a person who he said would give him the job. But that failed when the cops insisted that the title of the person who was supposed to justify his actions was irrelevant.
That's all I was trying to do. Please do not. I'm asking you for courtesy, man to man. Please do not ruin my career. Please.
I think you did that kind of on your own.
Casey then tried to justify himself, saying that he was just trying to earn some extra money working for the Glenwood Police Department. When he realized that his chances of avoiding arrest were slim, he began to beg the officers for mercy. "I ask you, please, not to ruin my career." However, the officers responded that he had put himself in jeopardy. During the search of his vehicle, officers found a loaded 15-gauge rifle, a tactical vest, a loaded pistol with 15 rounds of ammunition, a taser, 2 sets of handcuffs, and pepper spray. It is disturbing to think about what could have happened if officers had not killed Casey at that time, because even though he initially did not appear to have malicious intent, he could have used his badge, vehicle, and weapons for nefarious purposes, convincing people that he was an officer. As it turned out, this wasn't the first time Casey had gotten into trouble for similar actions. He had previously been a deputy warden in Puay County, but was forced to resign after attempting to exercise the authority of an undercover cop at a fair when he wasn't assigned that duty. After the Whitehall incident, Casey was charged with impersonating a police officer, a 3rd-degree felony, and improper handling of a weapon in a motor vehicle, a 4th-degree felony. On January 30th, 2017, at 15:24, New Mexico police received an alarming call from a witness in Nevada who claimed to have seen a woman taken from her Las Vegas apartment by a man and loaded into a white van with Texas plates. After receiving the alert, law enforcement was able to locate the van in less than 24 hours and arrest the driver and the passenger. When the suspects were removed from the vehicle, officers approached the white van and made an incredibly disturbing discovery.
Put a camera on this thing.
Got a camera. You need a...
Oh my God, thank you.
Okay.
Is that it? Rolling?
I gotta throw it.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna get you out of here, okay?
I got pictures of her and I got pictures of the chains.
They found a woman named Jane chained to the floor of the van by the suspects. Once freed by officers, the woman shared her shocking testimony. According to the victim's account, the man driving the van was her ex-boyfriend Jack, who had broken into her apartment and kidnapped her, even though she fought with all her strength to escape. Jack, being trained in mixed martial arts and much heavier than she was able to quickly overpower her. Jane thought that it was her neighbors who called the police, and it was thanks to that call to 911 that the officers were able to save her. Inside the police car, Jack didn't seem particularly upset about being arrested, and instead interacted quite calmly with the officer, even asking him if he had a favorite anthem and singing the words to Amazing.
You got a favorite hymn?
What's that?
You got a favorite hymn?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I don't know. I've never been into them. What about you?
What about Amazing Grace? You like that one?
I'll take it.
Amazing Grace, how sweet.
Jack's accomplice in the kidnapping was Samuel Brown, a 19-year-old boy. In the other police car, Samuel asks to speak to the officer, stating that he is scared of everything that is happening.
Is it okay to talk? Yeah. Anything. I'm just kind of scared. Okay. What are the police gonna ask me?
During the investigation, the police discovered that Jack and Samuel had planned to take Jane to a cave in New Mexico, dug by Jack into the side of a hill, where they intended to brainwash her into marrying one of them. After the horrific ordeal, Jack was sentenced to life in prison, while Samuel received a sentence of just over 5 years in prison. It is chilling to think what would have happened to Jane if that call to 911 had never been made.